I don't think I've ever made a video about the legend Yasumi Matsuno himself, but the creative mind behind the masterpieces of games like Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together and Final Fantasy Tactics has a pretty interesting X history, formerly known as Twitter. Although it's not quite as epic as MMA legend Tito Ortiz.
And at the end of the day, united we stand, and divided we will not fall.
Even though I wish Matsuno replied or reposted some of my tweets to him in the past, he does say some fascinating things from time to time about Final Fantasy Tactics. Most recently though, he did confirm something I thought was true, but it finally came out of the legend's mouth himself, that he wasn't part of the development team behind the War of the Lions remaster. Looking back at the credits for War of the Lions, this does seem true. So it makes me wonder how the newly added scenes and battles with Delita and Obelia were true to Matsuno's original plans with Delita's scrapped side story, and of course the other added content like Disorder in the Order, Lionel's new Liege Lord, and Mustadio getting the Tainer Rouge. In regards to another Final Fantasy Tactics game, this next tweet I found is rather interesting, and I'd totally play it, but someone did ask about an FFT remake, but having it be a non-tactical RPG. We are all getting old here, and this type of remake is probably something that won't happen, but it's always fun to ponder and think about. Going back to some history of Matsuno's tweets though, he was the one that did confirm several things, including the ending about Final Fantasy Tactics. Although it didn't sit too well with some fans. He confirms that Obelia does survive from the knife stab by Delita, and that Ramza and friends also end up surviving the battle with Ultima the High Seraph. However, apparently Matsuno does take this tweet back and leaves it up to the player to decide if Ramza and company do end up living. While we all love Final Fantasy Tactics, the game and series could have been quite a bit more. Matsuno did also confirm years ago that the original plan for FFT was to have two branching storylines with not only Ramza, but with Delita as well. However, this was ultimately scrapped, with around only 20% of it being written. I always found it odd that Delita was always listed as the main character, yet we never got to control and really play as him. But this tweet by Matsuno makes a whole lot of sense. Oh my gosh, dude, have you seen the video leak about FFT? Now, I hate to bring up copium or to add even more fuel to a fire, but Matsuno did mention wanting to make another FFT game, but on the 50-year war, if there was an opportunity. Granted, this was years ago. I don't know about you guys, but I would definitely prefer a brand new game like this, as not only it would be fun to play as Barbineth Beov, but it would be cool to see more of the backstory of characters like Ramza's mom, Delita being adopted into the family, how Elidibus got the Serpentaria Zodiac Stone, and so much more. Sadly, I couldn't ever find Matsuno ever talking about this idea of the 50-year war, but he did somewhat recently talk about nerfing Orlando if they were to do another remaster of Final Fantasy Tactics. But who knows exactly if this is real or not, or if Matsuno would even be involved in this project. Some people like to talk about Vagrant's story in my comments, and it looks like a cool game, but it's about Vagrant's story being retconned into Ivalice. While it's stated that Vagrant's story is now part of the Ivalice Alliance, and I'll put that in quotes here, this wasn't originally part of Matsuno's plans, as he just wanted fun references and Easter eggs. While the Ivalice Alliance is cool, they all don't connect as strongly compared to other Square titles, like how Final Fantasy VII does with Advent Children, Final Fantasy X with X-2, and we can't forget about Final Fantasy IV and its sequel, The After Years. Who knows what Matsuno is up to lately when it comes to game development, but I not only want to thank him for making wonderful games, but wish him the best when it comes to his health, happiness, and wealth. Okay, now that the video is over, it's time to subscribe and follow my Twitter. Nah, I'm just joking. Always limit your time on social media, as it's better for your mental health. Take care, and all the best to you.